everybody. I hope you're having a wonderful Friday or whatever day you happen to be watching this. My name is Tef, if you don't know me, and today we are going to be looking at the new Erin Condren back to school collection because they were kind enough to send it to me. I am an Erin Condren affiliate. Full disclosure, this was gifted to me. However, they are not actually paying me to make the video / go live, all that good stuff. Disclosures out of the way. Coco is sitting on the box right now, and so that's annoying. Also, I know that I have this lovely little chat box thing here, and I thought I'd fixed it. Oh, actually, I take that back. Give me a sec. I realized that I started trying to fix it on a different screen setting in here, and so let me see what I can do. Ooh, I think I got it working. Kind of. Partially. Give me a sec. Sorry about this. Oh. I almost pressed the end broadcast button, which would have been bad. Would have been very bad. Okay. Let me see. Okay. Unfortunately, I do have to troubleshoot all of this stuff live. Okay, so, woohoo! Okay, so it looks a little different than the last one. I think I mentioned I had to use a different service thingy to get this to work because I could not figure out the last one I was using. And so I think I can make changes on the fly if I need to. I just made a change, and I think everything just like went away because I changed the color from white to black. But please give me feedback whether you're watching live or whether you're watching the replay on if the chat is working, and as I said, I might need to make some changes on the fly. So I also want to know if you are watching. If you are watching live and you have not already, please sound out in the chat. If you are watching the replay, please let me know which one of these back to school items you are most excited about in the comments down below. It looks like so far in the chat, we have Sharon, hello. We have Marissa, hi Marissa. And Ackman, hi. Oh, and I just saw Teresa. Hello, Teresa. I hope you are all doing well. Let's go ahead now that I believe I have the chat mostly sorted. Actually, is that big enough to be seen? Should I make it a little bit bigger? Well, let's wait until we get a little bit more stuff in the chat. As I said, it kind of resets every time. And I can mess with it as we go. So here, hello. Okay. As I said, I am going to be playing with this on the fly. So here is my top-down view. This is one of the big Erin Condren boxes, and it actually made the trip very well. And I love purple, so this one's probably going to be turned into a cat bed. Here we go. I did mention yesterday, and I will repeat today, there is one thing that Erin Condren sent to me that I am not allowed to talk about yet, so I did have to pull that out of the box. I also took a quick look through everything earlier today just so I have an idea of what is going on. Again, all of the full disclosure stuff. Super, super excited. There was something else I was going to say before I got started. I'm an Erin Condren affiliate. Those links are below. Using the link supports me, yada, yada, yada. I think I already said that. Well, hopefully whatever it is, I'll think of it as we go. Are we ready to open the box? Are we ready? Ooh, we have JPF, first time catching this live. Welcome. I hope you enjoy it. This is a very special one. And Shakira, hello. Okay, let's go ahead and open the box. Actually, sorry, one more thing. So I did a little bit of testing before I went live so I could like have the box open for a minute. And so I ended up having to prop it up, but this is the seasonal surprise box, like the physical box, when you reverse it. It took me like years to figure out these boxes are reversible, but isn't that so cute? And then here, I'll just open it so you can see that was the pattern that was on the outside. I wish all the 𝗀𝗏𝗏𝗏 boxes were this cute inside. That would make the most adorable, adorable cat beds ever. So, and Coco's back. Hello, beauty. Hello. Hello. You're the most adorable reason why I can't open the box. Yes, yes. Well, one of the two most adorable reasons. She's like, no, I want all the attention. Ackman, you've already watched another unboxing today. Yeah, the embargo was up at 10 a.m. and me doing streams a little later in the day definitely means I'm a little bit behind the curve. I thought about doing something a little bit earlier, but I figured why not? Okay, Coco, my dear, it is time to move. I know. I know you're camera shy and you don't realize that the bottom down camera shows you, but anyway, okay. So, I have to put this behind here so that I can like prop the box up. Open it up. And of course now I can't stream my stream preview while it's open. I'll be moving it in just a second. There we go. Oh, I already took out the bubble wrap in here. Obviously we can't actually see much, and yes, I did already open it. So that is a preview of what we will be going over today. Lots of goodies. Oops, lots of goodies in here. That went flying. I am very, very excited. So yeah, let me go ahead. Of course, I know what I'll do. I have a TV table near me right now. I'm going to move this. I stole this from my mom. So it's right next to me, so I can put the box right next to me and actually see what's going on. Yay, all the stuff. Ooh, you're right, Ackman. The text is not wrapped to the chat. So I'm using a new program to do the chat, and apparently it does not apparently have wrapping, which is wonderful. Let me go ahead and see if I can find that option. Excuse me. Okay, let me play around with this for just a second. It's not giving me a thing to say, like, if it wraps or not. It's not giving me an option. Okay, let me see. They have a few different themes. Let me see if another one is better. So I'm going to have you guys post something in the chat because it's going to refresh. And now now Opal is in the box. Like, she's in the box, now not on the box. Yeah. Okay, that is very much off center. Oh, okay. So it's annoying that it's not wrapping. I mean, I can make it smaller, but then it also has to be much shorter, which is annoying. Again, new program. Sorry. I'm doing this on the fly. Very, very annoying. I think what might be going on is this one doesn't allow me to change the size. But at least I can see now that the theme won't make a difference. I'm gonna have to figure out, like, maybe I can find another way to run this so that it does wrap. Because that is very annoying. Either that, or I can just, I can just kind of change the dimensions or something. All right, so question. Actually, ooh, I recently figured out how to run polls. And so let me run a poll in the chat. This is only going to be for people live. I'm going to ask, is it better to have a chat that shows on stream but doesn't wrap, or no chat at all? Now keep in mind, again, that I am posting this as a poll. The chat should be viewable for most of you live without a problem, though I know, of course, if you're watching on a phone, it can get a little annoying. I mostly having the chat on the screen is mostly a concern for people who are, who are watching the replay. So far, it looks like a chat that doesn't wrap is better than no in-video chat at all. I'll leave that up for another couple minutes, since I know sometimes it takes a minute to vote. Oh, it looks like we already have 3 votes, and it's all 100%. Okay, or it's 100% chat that doesn't wrap. Okay, I will look into other options. So let's go ahead and get started. Finally, this is the first item. I think I have shown either this exact item or similar things before. I'm literally just grabbing stuff from the top to the bottom. There might be a couple of things that I intentionally don't do first, or that I like intentionally want to do first instead of last. Again, okay, I forgot. Need a spring. So I finally cleared out under my fridge, and there were about 40 springs. Maybe I'm exaggerating a little bit, but there are so many springs there. And Opie is like not interested at all. She's like, I just want pets. Come on, this is a stream. We've been looking forward to this. So this is one of Erin Condren's accordion things. Accordion pouches. They've had these for a little while. This colorway might be different. I do not remember specifically. But these can be very cool for a lot of things. I know the last one I got, I actually gave to my mom to hold her sewing stuff, but I am trying to redo my craft table, and I'm thinking this might be helpful for that. I'm not sure what kind of, let me zoom in, because a lot of these things are going to be small. I'm not sure what kind of storage I need yet. I also have a lot more stuff that I would love. Now Coco's here. Oh, I love you guys. This is not a good time. Oh, whoops. Oh, this way. Okay. Not a good time, guys. I have a lot more stationery than I can realistically keep near my desk, so I might be able to do something with this. So, yeah, I love the colors for this one. Again, it accordions out. Oh my goodness. Okay, they're like, it's a string. Okay, literally I have yarn on my couch, guys. You guys can go, usually I don't want you to play with the yarn, but you guys can go play with the yarn. I'm giving you permission. Zoom in to see the cat's feet better. I thought you'd want to see more of the cat. So anyway, this is one of Erin Condren's accordion file thingies. What are they called officially? Accordion zipper pouch. Yay! Okay. I would have loved one of these when I was actually in school, though. Like, this would have been amazing. It's this time of year where I wish I was in school, and I think I kind of want to go back to college just for funsies. Okay, I am going to end the poll since we are very much done with it at this point, except it doesn't want to end. Stupid poll. Okay, there we go. All right. You know what? I should ask you guys in the chat, is there anything specific that you want me to save to the end? I do have, you probably saw I have some pens, I have some books. The one thing with the pens, I'll probably do them all one after another, and I'll probably want to, if I have something that I can easily write on, I might grab that so I can test out all the pens for you. But yeah, let me know if there's something you specifically want me to keep until the end. In the meantime, let's go ahead and take a look at this. This is the pink calculator. Obviously, this is quite girly. I'm not sure if I'm going to end up keeping this one or not. By the way, a lot of the PR that I get, sometimes I keep it, sometimes I give it to my mom, sometimes I give it to my sister, sometimes I give it to my brother's girlfriend. Unfortunately, I'd love to do giveaways with it, but I do not have, I don't have the funds to be able to justify shipping at the moment, and part of the deal with Erin Condren PR is I'm not allowed to sell it. So, anyway, there's like logistically some challenges with this, and I know that this sounds like the first worldliest of first worldly problems, but I have to say, with getting a bunch of Erin Condren PR, I have more planner stuff than I know what to do with. And then I also, on top of that, make my own stickers. So there's like all of those stickers that I have more than I know what to do with, but at least that's my fault for making the stickers. Anyway, calculator. This, I would say, is probably a little bit more of an at-home calculator. It does come with its own battery. If you can see that, it's, oh, sorry. Woo, there we go. It's one of the little circular batteries. It's not focusing, but you get the idea. And it does come with it. Of course, you probably will have to replace it eventually. Okay, there we go. So, I don't know, 30 plus 90. The buttons are nice and clicky. Not clicky in a sound sense so much, but like they actually have a nice click. Obviously, it's not a touch screen, but they have a really nice feel to them. So I probably actually, now that I'm thinking about this, will keep this. And this might actually end up living on my desk because I often on my computer end up opening my calculator app on the computer or whatever, but my laptop does not have one of the side little number pads, and so sometimes it's a little bit of a pain if I'm doing a lot of numbers and whatnot. So I think keeping this nearby, whether it's on my desk or in a drawer, will be really handy. It is really cute to keep on my desk. Not that a lot of the stuff on my desk is actually cute, but, you know, it's always a plus, especially because my office slash studio slash whatever the hell you call this filming setup is in the middle of my living room because I live in a one-bedroom apartment that basically has one room. It does have, I do have like an alcove, which is like half of a separate room. I call it the alcove. I don't know. It's weird. But yeah, I think this is really cool. It feels, I mean, it feels like a calculator. It doesn't feel super cheap or anything like that. How much is it? Probably not super cheap knowing Erin Condren. $14. Okay. I don't know. It's been a long time since I bought a calculator. The last time I bought one was a graphing calculator for high school, and it was like 90 bucks. So I do not have a good handle on what the correct price is for this sort of thing. And I just realized I probably should bring up the price list. I know in the past I've talked about how Erin Condren has given me a little folder thingy that I can pull up and see prices, and sometimes I'm able to answer other questions because of that. But in this particular case, I do not have that. I just have a price list. So let's see. Let me bring that up so I can give you all the prices. Leah, okay, thank you for giving your thoughts that you would only maybe spend $8. Yeah, I mean, it's not a super nice calculator. Keep in mind that everything at Erin Condren is expensive. So to some extent, I'm thinking like, okay, like, is that a little bit more than I would probably necessarily want to pay? Yes, but for Erin Condren prices, you know, they charge, what is it, like 65 bucks for a planner. Can you tell that I'm usually like so cheap? I'm like, okay, like, would I have bought this if I was not sent it for PR? Almost definitely not, but I think it is beautiful. So yeah, I will definitely be using this. And by the way, the accordion zipper pouch, oh, it's the warm, cool rainbow. I wouldn't call this a rainbow per se. I'd call, I don't know, more of an ombre. But anyway, this is $16.50. I will say, if you've never held one of these, the fabric itself is, it's sturdy, but it's thin. And it's also the kind of thing that I don't think it's like actually water resistant, but it would wipe up really easily. So you could say the thinness is a benefit for this because it wouldn't take up as much space in a bag or something like this, or you could call it a drawback, but it does feel like it would clean up very easily. So let me go ahead and get caught up on the chat because all the chat going on today, which I absolutely love. And by the way, for those of you watching live, not only giving this a like helps me out a lot, but also participating in the chat also tells YouTube that you like my content. So whenever you have something to say in the chat, don't be shy because that helps me out. Also, if you haven't liked this yet, please like it. Or if you hate it, dislike it, let me know. Alrighty, so next thing is a sticker book. Let me zoom out just a tad. All right, so this is the Functional Planner Sticker Book, Designer Sticker Book, Pastel Functional Planner Stickers. Let me find this in the list. Functional Sticker Book, $15.50. I don't think this was part of the Life Planner launch. Was it? I forget. I love how I just said, oh, I'm going to catch up with the chat, and then I totally didn't. You're here for the randomness. You love it. Awesome. Yes, all of the chaos. It's so funny. A lot of times I'm like not a huge chaos person, but I'm definitely like a chaos person when it comes to actually doing these things. Let's see. Yeah, there's a little bit of talk about the calculator being overpriced. A lot of things are. Yeah, I agree. My rec room looks like it's part of your room. My place is always a mess. Hashtag ADHD. Yeah. No, I actually like things to be organized. I'm still trying to come up with systems that help me stay organized continually because I suck at staying organized. Shakira, I agree. We're paying for the brand, but that's how any brand name specifically and designer, especially like designer brands, you are paying for the brand. Sometimes you're also paying for the quality. I mean, we've talked about this, how Erin Condren planners are expensive and we pay for them because they are nice planners, how they have that Erin Condren flair. So in that sense, they're worth it. But if there was another brand that had something very similar experience-wise for like 20 bucks less, I would not think, oh, that's cheap. I'm not going to get that. I'd think, oh, how does that compare? Like, is it worth it? Can I get something similar enough for less money and save the money? I don't know. That's probably a terrible thing to say since I'm an Erin Condren affiliate, but whatever. Ackman, yep, wait for the sales and the coupons. If you got the Life Planner, then you got this card, which I've been like flashing around, and there's also a 15% off here. A lot of times you can stack these with different things. I do have a link down below where if you sign up for their text list, you get 15% off a purchase. I think you can also do that if you sign up for their email list the first time. If you've never made a purchase on erincondren.com, I also have a link where you can get $10 off your first purchase, and that is stackable. And if you have the Life Planner, again, you probably have the 20% off, and that may be stackable with the 15 as well. Erin Condren is also currently doing a 4th of July sale where it's 25% off. Let me grab the whole list because I forget. It's like not everything on the site, but I think it's like notepads and pens and let's see, stickers, desk pads, notepads, and writing tools. So a lot of things in here would qualify. I remember what I was going to say before I started. Remember I said like, oh, I have something else to say, and then I forgot it. All of this stuff launches on the 6th. So of July. So that is going to be Wednesday next week. So yes, I did get everything early. And now Coco's in the box. I should like really set up like a box kitty cam. But my cam that I probably would use for that, like I already have 2 cameras, it'd be hard to do a third. I could set up my face cam on the box. You'd mostly just be looking at the box, but occasionally the cats would jump in and it would be cute for like 20 seconds and then they'd jump out. Whatever. So, sticker book. This is so pretty. So we have a lot of different metallic stickers in here. Here it looks like we have some approximate quarter boxes and we have some squares, metallic icons. And so the metallic on every page is a little different. They kind of cycle through them. So the first page is gold metallic, then you have rose gold with some approximately half boxes. Oh, I think I like broke the binding on this. Oops. Here we have some more squares. We have a bunch of paydays and a couple quarter boxes. Here we have a workout tracker, some approximate full boxes, checklists, a bunch of little checklists. These are so cute. This week I'm focusing on, again, this one's gold metallic if you can't tell. Then we're back to rose gold. Again, we have some more boxes as well as a bunch of different icons. Okay, let's see if I cannot break the thing. Okay, these are semi-transparent circles that you can put over dates and whatnot, specifically at the beginning of the calendar of the year. You know how you have like the year at a glance or whatever? I'm pretty sure they're transparent anyway. I hope they are. And oh my goodness, I usually don't try to peel the stickers off. There we go. But I just wanted to show you that they are, camera, there we go. And of course it's not focusing. But you can kind of see. They're like transparent. So you can see writing under this. It's good for marking dates. You could like, at the beginning of your planner, you could color code like what's a day off, what's a holiday, when you have birthdays, things like that. So, here we have another one with some focus. We have some weekly spending, dinners, weekly chores, goals to do important. All of this is with silver foil, and then we also have some checklists as well as exclamation point icons. This one is gold foil. We have the little arched top ones, as well as weekend and vacation banners, as well as a couple of little icons. I love how they kind of filled, I don't necessarily want to call it dead space, but space where they couldn't necessarily fit any other stickers with icons. It's the most functional way, of course, to use the space, and you know, it gives you maybe not more bang for your buck per se, but like it actually makes the page look nicer to have it used on everything. Here we have a lot more checklists. This one's our rose gold. We have appointments and calls here. Remember, some more essentially full boxes, more headers, more half boxes, more icons, this time with the silver foil. And we are back to gold foil. We have some different checklists as well as some other boxes. We have some, they're not like washi strips. I mean, they kind of are, because a lot of times people will say like, oh, it's washi strips, but it's just on a sheet of paper. But you know, they're long stickers to kind of use as headers and whatnot. It'd be nice if they had like 2 of each color so that you could put them on either side of a spread, but you know, is what it is. More stickers, kind of the same thing, except this time in rose gold. And that is the end of the sticker book, which I have completely destroyed the spine on. So, to whichever member of my family ends up getting this, sorry about that. It's like, I mean, it's bound in with glue in a way, so you could like pull them out and treat them as individual sticker sheets, which actually is not really something I ever thought about being a feature of these sticker books, but is actually kind of cool and something that could be useful. So, ooh, Shakira, you love this sticker book. It's long overdue. I'm glad to hear you love it. Ackman, there's no free gift mentioned on this launch. Not really free. Yeah, the whole like gift with purchase thing is not really free, but yeah, I agree. Ooh, I love what you're saying here, JPF. Love that a ton of functional stickers and then the muted colors go with most designs. And because the colors, like they're muted, but they're based off of the standard Erin Condren colors that you have in color blends as well as in Harmony, you know, they go with those colors in that sense, even though they're muted, but because they are muted, they also go very nicely with the with In Bloom and Harmony Neutral. So yeah, I think that was really a good option there. Alrighty, next up, let's do a notepad. So here, I need to zoom in. Sorry. Every time I set up this face down camera, it ends up being like somehow a slightly different position. I do not know how I managed to do that, but yeah. This one, unfortunately, is shrink wrapped, and it makes me really sad to have to open it because a lot of them are wrapped in cellophane in a way that I can just easily rewrap them. Like, part of me is trying to, like, as you can see, like, get this out without destroying the packaging, which is stupid because I probably will not put it back, but I have managed to get it out without ripping the packaging. I will say, you know, I've mentioned that, like, with all the PR, I realistically can't use it. And I've mentioned that a lot of this will end up going to, like, my mom or my sister or my brother's girlfriend. I will also mention that I just realized today that there is a program in my area called Northwest Children's Outreach that accepts, like, new and very, very gently used stuff for kids and teenagers. And the idea is that, like, parents who can't afford maybe, like, you know, super nice stuff for their kids for whatever reason can go there, and, like, specifically for Christmas or birthdays, they could theoretically pick out presents, and because they're in such good shape, the kid won't be like, oh, I got this used. So I think anything that doesn't go to people that I directly know might go there, so that some kids or teenagers will be able to get some nice stationery or school supplies. I know it's not just Christmas or birthdays, but that, you know, is kind of what I remember. So anyway, notepad, yay! So we have this week's projects and exams. So here we have a place you could put in the date, or you could put in the day of the week if it's, you know, the week, or, I mean, you could really put in anything there. And then you write what it is, and then you can check whether it's a project or an exam. And then here we have a prep list. Now, when you think prep, what I think is like a teacher prep sort of thing. But we already talked about the teachers, and we had the teacher stuff launched. Not that you can't launch stuff for teachers during the back to school collection. Obviously, they're going back to school too, but this is a lot more student focused. And so if you're in school, or you're more recently in school than I am, as a student, what would you do with that column? I don't know. I'm curious. And then there's a little place there for notes. Oh, Shakira, you have a really good point. It's like the little things like that program that can, like, you know, kids that don't necessarily have a ton, like getting something that's new and or very close to new instead of like super used, like that like really could make them happy or make their day or something like that. I don't know. I can't believe I didn't think of that sooner, because I always think of like, okay, where can I, like, I don't want to necessarily just like donate this and have people, I mean, buying it at like Goodwill or something like that is definitely cheaper than buying it from Erin Condren, and, you know, not everybody can afford to buy it directly from Erin Condren, but donating it somewhere where kids that are really going to appreciate it are going to get it, especially because kids get made fun of at school sometimes if they don't have like nice stuff. So, you know, being able to, you know, if you're not the kind of family that necessarily has the money to spend on like the really expensive school supplies, that could be really nice. I was homeschooled up until 8th grade myself, so I didn't have a lot of that experience. However, while my family, my understanding is we could have afforded some of the nicer stuff, my mom is definitely a bargain hunter. Her parents grew up during the Depression, and so they kind of passed that along to her of make do with whatever you can, try to find the best bargains. So we were the people that would like go to Staples when they had notebooks on sale for like 10 cents a piece or, you know, pencils on like really, like we get like all the really cheap stuff. So having like a nice school notebook, like even spending like $3 to $5 on a notebook for me as a teenager, like that was a luxury, which sounds really silly now to say that, especially since I love Erin Condren's stuff, but I think that's about as close to somebody who did grow up as privileged as I was can get to empathizing with that situation, because I can only attempt to imagine what those, you know, kids that do grow up in those circumstances go through. You know, parents do so much for their kids, and especially with inflation right now, everything is getting so expensive, and kids are cruel. So, yeah. So yeah, here is that little notepad. It looks like this is a sticky notepad. So this is another good thing that you could put in your planner. You could put it on the front of a notebook or something like that. Definitely gives it a lot of versatility. It looks like they are using Post-it brand. Not that, I don't know if that necessarily matters to a lot of people, but, you know, it's nice. For me, I don't have a problem with off-brand, but I will say that if you get on-brand, then you at least know that the brand, like, you know what the quality, or you have a better chance at what the quality is going to be, and knowing what that quality is, it's going to be more reliable. I've run into some things where the off-brand is just as good, sometimes better. I've run into some things where the off-brand is terrible. So, yeah. Shakira saying back to school can be hard on parents, so every little contribution goes a long way. I used to travel to the US to buy up all the stationery because a pack of colored pencils is for the privileged. Yeah. And then the other thing is, I will say, you know, I was talking about how like my mom would like always go get all the bargains and whatnot, but I was also very fortunate in that my mom had the time to do that bargain hunting. She was not working 2 jobs just trying to keep us afloat. And so, again, that's something that I recognize was a privilege, because while bargain hunting definitely can be a necessity for some people, it also, they might not have the privilege to be able to spend a lot of money trying to get the best deals. And that's a privilege my mom did have. We're also the kind of people, I will say, that like when I get a good deal on something, I call my mom, I was like, guess how much I paid for this. The most recent thing that happened, I think I've mentioned this before, but I'll mention it again for any video game lovers who are out there. If you're in the US or have a GameStop in your area, I'm not sure if GameStop is a US only company or if they have them in other parts of the world, but they have their Pro plan. I think it's $15 per year. And I don't tend to buy a lot of video games every year. I buy 1, maybe 2, 3 in like a really busy year. So I'm like, I don't need to get that. But what I figured out is that they give you spend $15, right? And then for 1 year, you get $5 off a purchase every month. And I'm thinking, I'm not really gonna use that. But what you can do is you can go in and you can say that you want eShop credit. So I get Nintendo eShop, but I think you can also do that for Xbox and PlayStation. And so over the past few months, I've been accruing credit in the Nintendo eShop, and I spent $15 to get that. The only catch is you have to go in every month. So like, for instance, I think I missed June, but you know, spend $15, get $60 of credit if you go in every month. Okay, fine, I got 55 instead of 60 for the year. I will be getting this as long as I am near a GameStop, because it is such a good deal. And I will say that at least my local GameStop, it is a very, very small one. I know the people there, and like, because they have this, I'm more likely to go there for games, like all other things being equal, or even if I can get a slightly better deal. For instance, I have a Target Red card. It's their credit card, and if you have one of their cards, either a credit or a debit card, you get 5% off at Target. But because GameStop treats me well, typically I'll just go get the video game at GameStop because I want to support them because they have a great deal for me. And ultimately, I still come out ahead, and it's easier to just run into GameStop. GameStop also lets me bring in Kiki, which is my mom's 8-pound dog, who's adorable. And the closest Target to me does not let me do that. The Target that's like one further away, they're like, yeah, technically we don't allow dogs, but no one will kick you out. That's kind of similar to what GameStop said, but I also talked to the manager at GameStop. So anyway, let's go ahead and get back to this. So I think this is the most, oh, we have another notepad in here. So let me go ahead and show that too. And, oh, yeah, one more notepad, I think. And then we'll get to the pens because we have a couple of things to write on. So here is the other notepad that they sent me. This one will probably end up going to my mom. She's trying to figure out what her organization style is. I mean, I've been going down this like planning and organization journey for years, and I'm still trying to figure out what works best for me, but she's a lot newer in this whole thing. Hello, Opie. How are you doing? How are you? Do you want a spring? Do you want a spring? Should we do a yellow spring? Here is the yellow spring. I don't know why I always like to show the spring, but I don't know. It's fine. She literally, after I grabbed the spring, she like went on the floor to wait for me to throw it. It was so cute. Let's see. Sorry, I got distracted by the chat. Someone with ADHD, like having the chat really helps me obviously figure out what to talk about. Not that I usually have a hard time anyway, but I see the chat move and I get distracted. If and when I have a channel that like has a really fast moving chat at some point, it's going to be terrible because I'm going to get so distracted. Yeah. Shakira is saying we're all bargain hunters in some way. I love a great sale. It gives me such a high, sad high. I mean, kind of. When you like buy something, especially when you get a good deal, like your brain, it releases dopamine, or the way I think of it is like you get a hit of dopamine. And so dopamine, I mean, everybody likes having dopamine in their brain. I say that as if it's a conscious thing, like it's a chemical, and I forget the exact thing, but like what it does. Is it like the pleasure chemical? I forget exactly what it is. But especially if you have ADHD, you don't have as many, it's either you don't have as many dopamine receptors, I think that's what it is, or something like that. So you are effectively even more sensitive to dopamine. And kind of bringing something else in, if you guys remember a few years ago, 𝗪𝘁𝗰𝗵, which is how I actually think it's pronounced, Marie Kondo, had her life-changing magic of tidying up, right? And so one of the things she talks about in that book is that a lot of what she's talking about is like how to get rid of stuff in your life. And so one thing she talks about is we have a tendency to want to keep things that we've bought and never used because we think we might use it, but you get that thrill, that satisfaction just from buying it. And so if it's not something that you're using in your everyday life, it doesn't mean you have to hold on to it, because maybe the actual purchasing of that was like, it gave you the thing that you needed to get from that item, if that makes sense. And you can let it go, and which will not only like free up your space and in some respects your mind, but someone else, if you donate it, then someone else can go get it, and someone else can either use it or have the thrill of finding it, at a thrift shop or something like that. There's a speck of dust on my glasses that's bugging me. And so that's one of the things she talks about. And so when you were talking about, wanting to, finding a good sale or a good bargain and like giving you a high, that's what I thought of. Leah, I'm glad you loved that GameStop hack. I found it out by accident, to be perfectly honest. And yeah, I will tell anybody I know now that plays video games, because it is, if you can make it to GameStop, even 4 times in a year, you still come out ahead. Now, is there a ton that you can buy from, an eShop library for $5? Not a lot, but You know, if you're even able to go there, you know, 6 times out of the year, you know, maybe you get enough for like, you know, a decent indie game, or at least take some money off of what you're already going to buy. So I think that's cool. So here's this one. I want to say I may have reviewed something like this for the academic planner one, when they sent me that box. I could probably look, because it looks very familiar to me. Am I like completely hallucinating? I really, the planner stuff that is around my desk area is crazy. Here's the box. This is mostly back to school stuff that they sent me. I think some of this is seasonal surprise box stuff too. Oh, apparently I have some of my own stickers in here that made it in there by accident. And then I also have, these I bought a long time ago, but they're little metallic tab covers, which I will probably, I have 2 sheets, but I'll probably put them on whatever planner I end up using as my main planner this year. I just haven't decided which one it's going to be yet. No, I don't see it. It doesn't mean they haven't already sent that to me by any means, and not that it really matters. As I said, my desk area is a complete disaster. I need to come up with a system to like handle everything. My desk was already a mess in the past few months. Erin Condren's been so kind with PR. It's just gotten crazy. So anyway, as you can see, this is kind of like a self-care and habits thing. And then there's a place for you to write this week's joy. So I know Erin Condren for a long time has been focusing on gratitude, but I kind of like the way of reframing this, because if you are someone that specifically focuses on gratitude, then you could still use it that way. But I know for me, I like the idea of like being grateful for things, but the way it is, I'm not sure how to really express this. Not that it's overused per se, but sometimes it just feels like a little cringy. And I feel really bad about saying that, because gratitude should not really be cringy. But anyway, for me, reframing it helps a little bit. Leah, I hope you have a great rest of... Oh, you gotta go body double. So I'm assuming you're gonna go. Have a good one. Body doubling is awesome. I know in the past you've been designing while on stream. That's body doubling. So yeah. Another cute little notepad with this. So let's go ahead and take a look at the myriad of pens. And I'm actually going to start with a pen set really fast that I already have, because I want to jump into the cool stuff. So this is the Rainbow Gel Pen Duo. I think this was in the seasonal surprise box, if I remember correctly. I just took a sheet off, and I'm just going to use the back to scribble on. Or maybe I should just use the front to scribble on. I'll like actually be smart for once. And there. Okay. So yeah, I was talking about how like, oh, is this, you know, or is it going to come with more than 2? And then Ackman did the research, and he's like, yeah, it's just going to come with 2. Actually, if I can put my hands on the other set that I have, I might use that, because these have this little, I'm guessing it's wax on the tip. And not that anyone would really miss it, but I kind of don't want to take it off for testing purposes if I literally have another set. But I can't find it. Not that it's hard for me to lose anything around here. Okay, one more spot, one more easy spot it might be. Nope, okay. That's okay. Bad joke coming. Tef needs to weed her desk. Lots of cattails there. I definitely need to reorganize my desk. It is so much better than it used to be, but like I was getting to a point that as long as I didn't have a ton of new stuff incoming, I was okay. But then I started getting Erin Condren PR because I started doing YouTube again, and it got crazy. So yeah, I need to come up with a system for all of the incoming stuff so that that does not become an issue. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to get a few different bins. I'll probably go to the Dollar Tree and get, are you playing with the pen? Okay, come on. If you're gonna play, at least play in frame. Be cute. Earn your keep. No, she's like, no. No, over here, play over here. So anyway, what I was thinking is a bin for planners, notebooks, that sort of thing, one for writing utensils, and then maybe one for other stationery stuff, and then like an incoming bin of stuff that for one reason or another I have not talked about yet. Not that it probably matters to you, but you know, I just thought I would mention that. So these are these color changing pens, and I discovered last time I tested them that it takes a little bit of time for the color to change, but as far as like a practical pen goes, this is actually a little bit better than the ones that change colors like super fast, because if you're writing, you know, this is a test writing thing, I don't know. It's relatively subtle until you write a lot. So if you're thinking, like, it wouldn't be distracting, is what I'm trying to say. So that one is purple and pink, it looks like. And then this one is pink, yellow, orange. There might be some blue in this one. Yeah. It's either purple, blue, pink, or just purple, pink. Or maybe it's just purple, blue, or maybe it's just blue, pink. But yeah, this one's warmer. And so, again, we're mostly seeing that sort of thing. Let's see, is this the best way? I'm trying to figure out what the best way to write on this thing is without blocking it. Yeah, I think that's going to be the best way given the circumstances. And, of course, I'm going to have to get a new thing out for, like, every single one because I'm going to write so much. So, anyway, these are the Rainbow Gel Pen Duo. Will I end up using these personally? Probably not, but I would have loved these in school. And as I said, because it doesn't change super fast, a kid could get away with using these and it would just look like it's a fun pen. So, next, let me actually, here's, you know, I'm going to be smart. I'm just going to get a plain piece of printer paper to use to test this stuff. Because this is a lot cheaper and less wasteful. This actually kind of makes a cool, like a nice, like more professional background anyway. This was my dad's desk. It was the one he used when I was a kid. And then I ended up with it. And I actually love it because it's huge. But the wood over many, many years is beat up and it could look a little bit more professional. I actually have things that I can put down as like backdrops or whatever, some poster boards. I'm just usually too lazy to get them out, and I have to move stuff around to make them fit. So these, oh, I should actually show them to you before I take them out. Sorry. This is the magnetic, can you actually see that there? Magnetic ballpoint pen duo. So I'm curious about the magnetic and like exactly how, is it like a magnetic cap, in which case that would be very cool. Would they actually stick to something that's magnetic? I do have a magnetic board here. It's not on camera, but I could at least try that real fast. Okay, so these pens, as I'm feeling them, they are like, they feel like they're made of metal. You can kind of hear them as they clink here, and they feel thinner than a standard pen, which feels a little weird, to be perfectly honest, but I could see how this could be really handy actually for somebody with like small hands, like a kid. As you can see, I have big fat fingers, so my hands themselves, I mean, they're big and fat too, but yeah, anyway. So the caps themselves do go on magnetically. So it's the caps that are magnetic. They don't click into place, they're just magnetic. And then those points, okay, they do have a little bit of that wax stuff on the end. There we go. Okay. So, I'm not sure if you can see that. So, let's see. Okay, so this, I'm guessing they're both black because this one is and they're not specifying colors. So these are, yeah, magnetic top pens. I'm curious to know how these would last in a bag with the caps. Sorry, head over here. Maybe I should just move the camera a tad. Maybe that will help. Probably not. I'm curious to see how these would last in a book bag compared to pens that have caps that snap on. And the magnetic does work very well on the back. Like, okay, granted I'm not pulling hard, but I'm putting my fingers on here and I'm like putting enough so there's kind of like some friction. But if I like actually pull my hand, it comes, like, it slides. I hope I'm giving like a good explaining. Well, I need to move this. This is getting on my nerves. Okay, maybe that's a little better on my end. I'm trying to explain what they feel like because a magnetic pen is not something that I run into every day. So the magnetic on this end is not nearly as strong as it is on the back end, which is interesting. But if you're the kind of person that loses your pen caps when they're on the back of your pen, I could see that being nice. I will also say that because there's not an actual snap to, like, because there's not an actual click to it, I'm always the person that would play with my pens like this in class, or if they were a click pen, I'd click them. And so I could see, for somebody who does like to fidget, being able to fidget with this in class would be significantly quieter. I will also mention that like Pop-Its and fidget toys are more socially acceptable these days than they were back in my day. I did go to an arts high school, so there was a lot more tolerance to like drawing in class and stuff like that. But, you know, there was like the whole social acceptability thing. By the time I was a junior and senior in high school, I would crochet in class a lot. I was making an Afghan and I had a pattern that was very simple to do. So I could do it was literally just making triangles. So I could make these triangles without having to pay much attention, but it kept my hands occupied. And I didn't realize it then, but it was because of my ADHD. And most teachers would let you crochet or, you know, do stuff like that in class. I did have one teacher though, he had a rule. This is more for people that knit, but he had a rule that if you wanted to be able to knit in his class, you had to knit him a pair of socks. So I crocheted him a pair of socks just as my, like, you know, now I get to crochet in your class sort of deal. So anyway, these are those magnetic pens. So if you try to put them together, like clip to clip, they kind of repel each other, but they do stay together a little bit like that. Okay. Oh, whoa, that was a little strong. Let me see if they, not that I really stick them up on a whiteboard, but I'm just curious. Let me see if they stick. Huh, it's not like a super secure stick, but they do stick up to a magnetic whiteboard. Yeah. Yeah, so these are nice. They feel nice. As I said, they are metal. So the metal feels nice. The fact that they're thinner than a lot of pens makes them feel, I just dropped one, makes them feel different, I guess is what I'm gonna say. And the fact that they are thinner actually might be good for some people. For me, I'm gonna pick it up. For me, my hand tends to cramp less when I'm using bigger writing implements. So for me, them being thin actually could be a downfall. But I know for a lot of people, they would be nice. So I do like putting stuff back in the packaging so I don't have as much of a mess later. And again, because I do like to give stuff that I'm not going to be using away, whether it's to family or in this case to the Northwest Children's Outreach, I do want it to look nice. That way, I mean, technically they're getting my cast-offs, but I don't want them to have that experience per se, if that makes sense. Like, this is nice stuff. Most of it is very nice, whether you want to argue that it's overpriced or not. For what it is, most of it, like very little of it, I would say is like junk, if that makes sense. So yeah, whoever ends up with this, it probably will not be me. I want them to have a good experience. Next, pastel square highlighters. I absolutely love that Erin Condren is doing a lot of non-neon highlighters because I hate neon highlighters. So this one has sage, mauve, love the mauve, orange sherbet, and lavender. Very, very cute. Very, very pretty. And the fact that they're big could make them, you know, I just said that like, oh, small things for some people might be easier to grip. Well, some people like big things that are easy to grip, and especially if you're highlighting a lot of stuff, having that nice grip. If I can actually get the top off, I could see it would be nice. Okay, here we go. So yeah, definitely your standard chunky highlighter. Has the Erin Condren asterisk there, but other than that, it's just a plain body. It has, you know, like that feel when it's like half silicone. It's like a hard silicone. That's what it feels like. It's a very silky feel to these. And then this is just, you know, clear plastic acrylic. So, I mean, what did I expect? It's a highlighter. Hello! These are not scratch and sniff, honey. These are also not the markers that smell like things. When she moves, you'll get to actually see all of my swatches. But, yeah. I love the color of this one. Like the color of the physical thing, like this, you know, the Sherbet salmon color, whatever you want to call it. All right. So I'm not sure if you can see, but the pen nibs are slightly not, they don't exactly go parallel with the oblong body. It's kind of hard to show, but they're a little offset. And so it was throwing me off a little bit, but once you know where it is, I think it makes it easier to use. Like to actually use and get a good angle. But because it's not exactly what the positioning is with a lot of highlighters that I've used, I'm having a hard time at first kind of exactly telling where it's going to be, if that makes sense. So it's something that I probably would have to get used to, but oh man, those are pretty. I wish I had these in school, whether it was high school or college. Though in college, I mostly took my notes on a laptop. I had a couple of professors that wouldn't let me use a laptop, and those were usually the terms that I used notebooks for. But aren't those gorgeous? As much black as I wear now, I used to wear more back in the day and be like very anti, okay, maybe not anti, but I was not a fan of bright colors. Like darker jewel tones, pastels in some situations were okay, but like so much more black than I wear now. Akron saying that these highlighters look like a fourth ink and the other 3/4 is just plastic casing. Yeah, so a lot of it does look like it's plastic casing. What I will say is that I don't know exactly how far the ink goes down, but it's a little hard to see. I can see that it goes down at least until here. So, like, while there is plastic casing around it that takes up a lot of space, the ink doesn't stop, like, you know, right where the see-throughness starts. It goes down at least a little bit. I don't think I can, like, really pull it apart without breaking it to see. What I will also say is that standard highlighters actually have surprisingly little ink in them compared to the size of their bodies. So while you do make a good point, I don't think this is any different than standard highlighters. The difference is that there's the see-through element, and so you can actually see it. It's crazy how little ink highlighters and pens and whatnot can actually have, especially if you get the cheap ones. And because they have the same size casing as, you know, the brand name or the more expensive ones, in the case of it being a cheap brand, you can't tell that it doesn't have a ton of stuff going on in there. Oh, anyway, next we have these colorful fine liner pens. I absolutely love fine tip pens. Love them. In fact, a lot of Erin Condren pens in the past have been like medium tip, and I've been like, oh, I wish I had fine tip. So this case is one of the few cases on the new pens that's specifically meant for you to like keep them in the case I know we've seen a lot of those, I don't have any handy, but like hard acrylic plastic pen cases in the past. I haven't seen any of those super recently. But this one is really interesting because it has this little mechanism where you can basically fold this back and it kind of clicks into place. And then because of this little lip here, it kind of holds them up off the table a little bit. So you can kind of easily grab them. Now, would it be nicer if they were at a little bit more of an angle? Yes. But for, oh, I think you can fold this down too. Or fold this up, I guess. I mean, oh, that's what you're supposed to do. Oh my goodness. You fold that up. I thought that was just like a little hanging thing. So you have even more of a lip. And then they go like that. And then you have all your pens on the table. Very, very cool. So these are 10 colorful pens, stand-up, reusable case, water-based ink, ultra-fine with 0.4 millimeter tip. All right, let's go ahead and give these a shot. Lots of Erin Condren mid-century circles. These, again, have that little see-through detail. A little bit, like, they definitely snap into place. I know I was talking about with the magnetic pens, like, oh, I'm wondering how will they hold up in a bag. Well, with these, I have to say, as long as you put them on, they will hold up pretty darn well. I'm actually holding this rather tightly and pulling without holding this side super, super tightly. Like, I have to hold it and actually pull. So this probably would not be good for somebody who has, like, no hand strength. Let's turn this over. I know there's a little bit of, like, a see-through bleed in there, but I'm just going to do that, I think, because it's easier for me to tell where I am on camera. So this one is Marigold. And it looks like these are like a felt tip. I don't think it specifically says felt tip, but yeah, they're a felt tip. So definitely very light, but also very pretty. Of course, when I hear Marigold now, there's a couple of references to a Marigold in season 3 of the Umbrella Academy, which I absolutely loved. I saw an article headline the other day. It's like, oh, everybody hated season 3 of the Umbrella Academy, and I'm thinking, please let them just be trying to get attention, because, and like trying to get clicks, because I absolutely loved season 3. This is Garnet, by the way. Favorite season of Umbrella Academy. I've already watched it twice. If you've never watched the Umbrella Academy on Netflix and you have access to it through Netflix, I highly recommend it. It is rated TV MA, so it's not for little kids. More for like content and language, I think. I don't think there's enough nudity that it would really be a problem. This is purple. All the other ones are like really, well, not all of them, but so far, Marigold and Garnet have been really creative. This is just purple. I mean, purple's a good name, and it's a good color, but whatever. This one's Amethyst. But anyway, yeah, it's the way I like to describe it, it's not maybe 100% accurate, but I like to say, like, what if a superhero TV show was like a comedy drama or dramedy. There's definitely action sequences in there. This one's just black. Ackman makes a very good point. No names on the pen barrels. These are a little bit easier to tell apart than the last ones we looked at. I don't have all of them in here, but the dual tip ink markers, like some of these were very, like, very similar and close. Some of these are too, specifically the navy and the black are a little bit hard to tell apart when you're glancing. Same with the greens, it's aloe and aquamarine. Aquamarine's a little bit more blue. But the blues themselves are different enough that I can tell them apart. This one is dusk. That is not dusk. It needs to be, I don't know, duskier. It needs to have more gray in it. That's too bright to be dusk. This one's navy. That's a good navy. I accept it. Next we have cerulean. Whenever I hear cerulean, I always think of Pokemon, like, first generation. Same with a couple of other colors, like fuchsia, saffron. I mean, that's a little bit more of like a cooking ingredient. Vermilion. Yeah. I think I've mentioned it before, but my inner child is a 10-year-old tomboy, which was a lot more hilarious when I was also like super into makeup and girly stuff. Now I'm, not that I reject it or anything, it's not my like passion, being like all, you know, makeup and girly and, you know, these two like very different sides of me. You know, on one hand, in college, like on one hand I was like in the anime club and a total geek, and then on the other hand I was in a sorority. So yeah, this one is aloe, by the way. Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure if I would have called it aloe, but it's not wrong, I guess. But yeah, my inner child is a 10-year-old tomboy, and I love video games, and yeah. And that is aquamarine. So yeah, it looks green in the barrel, but it definitely, in real life, comes out to be a little bit more blue. Let me zoom in. That's as much as I can zoom, but hopefully you can see the colors well. And then I didn't mention this earlier, but each of the pens, hope you can see this, if I can angle it right. Each of the pens have their own little spot in there. So unlike a lot of other pens, both by Erin Condren and other brands, they don't move around when you take other ones out. Like with these, they, you know, I took a few out and they move. These ones do not. Well, okay, they move up and down, but they don't move back and forth. They all have their own little slots. I mean, I'm sure you could mix and match them and put them in different slots, but I can see, like, for me in school, that would have been really nice. And also, there's a little peg here, so that when you put it back, it kind of snaps into place. Not in a way that makes it super hard to unsnap, but it does have enough that it doesn't, like, completely come out. So, in theory, that would be secure enough to not go all over your backpack. Those are so cool. I would have loved to have these in school. Shakira, I say you're a teacher without saying you're a teacher. I hear cerulean and think of a big box of Crayola crayons. I love it. I love it. Though I will say I was never a huge fan of crayons as a kid. I was more of a colored pencils girl, and that was like the one school supply that I managed to get my mom to not completely cheap out on, and she would get me Prismacolors. I was also in art classes, so I think that's kind of the justification. I will say, like, when I say, like, oh, my mom cheaped out, like, she didn't get anything that was actively bad. She just didn't get me, like, you know, we got the plain binders when they went on sale as opposed to the one with, like, the cute things on them and stuff like that. Like, we got the plain pencils and not the cute ones and stuff like that. Anyway, I was so excited about these, and I am really excited to try these. This is the color changing brush pens. This is one of the things that I was really hoping would be in this box. The other thing that I was hoping would be in the box, I knew was a bit of a long shot. Let me grab the card and I'll show you. And I knew it was a long shot because it's not launching until August. It's this. What is it called? The adjustable wood laptop stand. So I knew having that in the box would be a long shot. But these, as soon as I heard of them, and I know I was like gushing over them yesterday. I was so excited. Okay, so you know, like those, I think I had the Crayola ones, like the magic markers where like you had all of your colors and then you had like a clear one or whatever and you went over it and it changed colors. Like this is the brush pen Erin Condren. I want to say adult, but let's be honest, it's the slightly more expensive / really expensive, because I don't know how much it is, version of that. It is, how much is it? $15.50 for 6 pens. So very much not cheap, but way cool pens. And I will say, as far as like art pens go, and if you're looking at brush pens, that actually isn't a terrible price. Brush pens in general do tend to be pretty expensive. I will say, I have some brush pens. I've tried to learn calligraphy. I suck at it. But I do tend to like smaller tip brush pens. And that's like the one thing I just realized that I might be a little annoyed at. I also think it's so cool that with these, they color-coded the cases very nicely. So I'm assuming, let's see. Okay, so this is the Irish to fuchsia one. So this is what it comes out as, I guess, and that's what it changes color to. So let's go ahead and take a look. So yeah, these are definitely bigger brush pens. Ugh. My calligraphy skills have gotten way worse, and I'm a little bit worried that the ink is bleeding through to my desk. Ooh, that is bleeding through. So I'm gonna get another piece of paper to go under it. Actually, here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna get another piece of paper to go over it so we have a fresh piece of paper. Okay, here we go. So. Maybe I should let that dry for a sec. That way, I mean, it probably will bleed, but in an attempt to not completely mess the thing up. Oh, whoa. I was, of course, not of course, but I was looking at the yellow in some aspects while I was writing because the pen cap is red and it came off, or, you know, it looks kind of pink, but drawing it looks red. And so it was really weird to like be looking at that yellow. Again, here's another orange. This is at least a little bit more similar. It looks really weird. Just doing, I guess we're doing color swatches for this. I feel like it will be more fun to have like color swatches that I can like scribble in. Okay, that one. Ooh, that's definitely brighter than the cap. I like that. And then last, we have the yellow to red. So we have what's supposed to be pink, but is actually red to yellow. And then we have yellow to red, which is interesting. Okay. I hope I'm not completely messing these brush pens up, because eventually I would like them to actually be useful. Okay. So now that I've done that, and it's had a minute to dry, here is the magic tip. Ooh, very good point, Shakira. The launch is giving all the retro vibes. But like, I feel like it's a 2020s twist in some ways. Like a 2020s updating on the retro. Yeah. I mean, we knew there were going to be magic, but that just looks so cool. And it's brighter in person. You can see it on camera, which is good. It takes a minute to come up, but oh, that's so cool. Now I wonder if it's the same for all of them, or if you, yes, it is. So it's the same, this tip is the same for all of them, I think, because it worked over here, but just for the sake of completeness, we'll use each of them. Oh, whoops, I was using the brush ends. Okay. Based on the preview pictures of this one, I was not expecting the difference to be very striking, and even on camera it does not look very different, but in person I can definitely see the yellow showing up on the red very, very well, which I approve of. Let's see, what should I write on this one? I heart planners. Ooh, maybe this one was the one that wasn't showing up well. Again, in person it shows up great. I'm not seeing it show up very well on camera. But in person it's fine. Very, very visible. Let's see. That one, again, is a lot more visible on camera. Ooh, #1 stationery fan. I love that. Let's do that next. If I can spell stationery without having to look at your comment, because I suck at spelling. I have to say, I mean, I think part of that is an ADHD thing, like in hindsight, but that is one of the very few downsides of being homeschooled, is that I didn't have a lot of spelling tests. I mean, that part of that is just how my mom homeschooled me, and so my spelling sucks. Okay, that definitely does not change a lot. That's the first one that shows better on camera than it does in real life, which is interesting. And then this one should probably be pretty striking. Some of these are getting better as they go. This one looks bad. I do not like that one. Let's see. Yay, that one, it shows up so well, and it's like instant. Look at that. Some of them take a minute to like get intense. That one is super intense from the get-go. Very, very cool. I love these. These are so much fun to play with. Yeah, you're right, Ackman. The ink, the other side, the clear side is the same for all of them. I did test that already. I was just using each of them, I mean, because I wanted to. I don't have a good reason. I was thinking maybe the first ink color might smear a little bit onto the magic side, but it didn't really smear. But yeah, that's this pack. This is fun. Especially if you like brush pens, this is a great buy. If you just want to play with them, great. But because they are brush pens, they're not great for like just printing text. If you're gonna, like, these are a little bit more of like an art pen. I will say that. If you've never used brush pens, they're a hybrid between a brush and a pen. They're not the kind of thing that you can just like bust out and use to like write your to-do list easily in your planner. Yeah. Ackman saying might stand out more since most brush pens are used for lettering, so a streak of color might show up more. Yeah. But yeah, those are so cool. There is one more set of pens, but I'm actually going to wait to show those to you because I don't have something good to test them on yet, and you'll see why. So these are all the pens. These are definitely my favorite. I mean, partially just because the testing, apart from this one, was so fun. But these were the other pens that we looked at. My scribbles. Yay, scribbles. Okay. Next, this, let me zoom out a little bit. This was super controversial when we were looking at it in the little flyer thingy. This is the gold bookmark ruler. And I was like, ooh, this is so cool. And a lot of other people would be like, what's the point? So it is a little bendy. I will say that, but it feels nice. It has like a nice springiness to it. And then keep in mind, when it is like a bookmark, when you're using it as a bookmark, mostly this is going to bend. And because I know that was the thing that a lot of people were talking about, how like, first off, they don't need to be both a bookmark and a ruler. And then also that if it gets out of shape and bends, it's going to be useless. I actually disagree. I have rulers that have gotten out of shape and bent. Specifically, I think my metal ruler. I'm not sure if you can see, but it has a natural curve to it, and also, you can't see, but like a little bit of a twist. This was the ruler that I bought my first year of college when I was a graphic design major, and I still use it. I also should have been using this ruler, but instead was using this ruler when I sliced the tip off this finger. And I'm not sure if you can see it, but there's a scar there. It looks kind of like a light glare, but there's a scar. So yeah. So this is not the kind of ruler that you would use necessarily to get like super fine measurements per se, like, but as, you know, a ruler to have around to, you know, measure something a little bit or draw some straight lines, I like it, and honestly it feels nice. And you also could use it if you ever want to draw some curves on stuff. That would be more of a, like, you know, side thing. I also like the fact with this ruler that you do have this space on the inside that is created with the bookmark, because I have run into a lot of situations where I want to mark does not necessarily line up with this edge of the ruler. It lines up with the inner edge, and if usually I have to go like down here, I don't know, it makes it a little bit harder. So being able to not having to like draw the line across the whole ruler and having it be a little closer would be very, very nice. But yeah, this Ackman's saying you don't think it would last very long. I mean, I can see that, but I mean, this is metal, so it bends, and so if it bends out of shape, you could bend it back. Will it be brand new? No, but it's not like plastic where it's just gonna snap off. So, ooh, it's springy. Ooh, I like that. That feels cool. I like it, guys. You can think whatever you want about it. I think it's very cool, and when I showed my mom, she thought it was so cool too. It's so funny that we love it, and a lot of you guys really didn't. Not that that's a problem, but I just find it really funny. Finally, something to slide into the agenda slot. Yeah. So yeah, this is, I like it. It's, as I said, it's metal. Let me grab my other 𝗂𝗏𝗄𝗏 metal ruler. Oh no, do I not have it? It might not be at my desk currently. Can you tell I use it? I have the small metal ruler that they released a few years ago. Yeah, it's, I don't know where it is. It might be at my craft table. It might be somewhere else. But even though that one has gotten like a little, like, I mean, it definitely doesn't look new. It's gotten a little tarnished over the years. It's still holding up well. You can still see the markings. Like, it still works as a ruler. Whereas if you get a plastic ruler, I mean, this one's actually holding up well. I love these clear rulers. I'm okay, maybe not a ruler nerd, but I love rulers. I have a drawer, like, it's my front drawer of my desk. Here, let me show you my ruler collection. So you've already seen those. And then Erin Condren sent this one to me in PR. I mean, you can see that some of the numbers are already coming off a little bit. And I didn't think I would like it, but the fact that it is clear acrylic actually is functional in different ways that this one's functional. And then I recently just started putting in my Erin Condren snap-in bookmarks, which I've never been a fan of. But maybe if I have them handy, I'll actually use them. Who knows? But yeah, so it's not a very big ruler collection. And then I have the other one that, as I said, is not currently at my desk, but at some point it probably will make its way back here. But yeah, I love my rulers. I use them all the time, and I use them for different things. So it is nice to have a variety of different rulers. If you're a weird person like me who likes rulers, I guess having a ruler collection seems very strange, but it actually works. Ooh, 𝗀𝗵𝗔 is saying, I like it better than the one that comes with the life planner. I'm just concerned about how far it would stick out if you hooked it onto a page in your planner. Well, I do have my planner here. They also sent me some books, but since we haven't looked at them yet, let's look at this. So, it's not too bad. I have to say, for me, I kind of like this, is because my cats, like, would not have fun. Like they might think it's interesting, but they would not have fun playing with it for very long, whereas a lot of other, like, bookmarks and things, I mean, you don't see a lot of them on my channel, like the little tassels and stuff like that, because they're a nightmare if you have cats. But something like this, I could actually use as a bookmark that sticks up quite a bit. I like the snap-in bookmarks specifically because they don't stick up a lot, but there are some downsides to that. So, and I have to say they placed the little, at least for the life planners, they placed the asterisk very nicely because you can see through there. If I couldn't see through, I'd say, I wish they'd moved it up a little bit. I know why they put it there looking at the whole ruler, but again, I'm being nitpicky. Again, being nitpicky, it did make a little bit of a crease in my vellum. I don't know if you can see it. It is very slight, but it's there. Let me see if it would crease the actual pages. Yep, it creases the actual pages. So maybe this is not the best functional bookmark. This is more of a ruler with bookmark benefits. I could also see this. Okay. Oh, where is it? Okay. See, I keep saying, oh, I should clear up my stuff, and then I'm like, oh, it's just on my coffee table. So this is my ring agenda that I've never actually put anything in. So it is blank, but something like this could go in there very nicely. And then, you know, you have it in its little pocket. You can even put it over here. Actually not, because it sticks out the bottom. It would be nice if you could, but yeah, you can't really put it there. But yeah, you could put it here if you didn't mind it making a little bit of a dent, and then, you know, have it in here. It's kind of clipped in. So I like it. I'm not sure exactly what its function will be in my grand scheme of the collection of rulers, but I like my rulers. Yeah, Shakira, I agree. Apart from testing stuff, I don't especially want to crease my paper either. For my planner, I will probably stick it to the snap-in bookmarks. This will probably mostly be a ruler for me. Though, if you get a textbook from school, putting it in a textbook wouldn't be a big deal. Or maybe it's just like a notebook or something. Like, I could see for like a math notebook or something, especially if you're in geometry. Having something like this, especially if you can't do like a snap-in ruler, but you need to be able to make straight lines easily, could be really great. Shakira, you have a great idea. That ruler is great for staging as a photo prop. I use all sorts of weird things for staging and photo props. Right now, literally to hold up my tripod, I wish I could show you. Well, I mean, I could, but I don't want to have to reposition the camera, aka my phone, because yes, when I have this, my phone is right there and I don't have to go looking for it like I did that other time. But I literally have like a dish tub underneath the foot of it. And then I have a bag of rice as a weight. That is normally what, that is kind of what people use for weights, but then I have like a weird bag that it's, I don't know. I just kind of jimmy rig a lot of things. But yeah, this I probably will keep because I have a weird thing about collecting rulers, especially when they're not like, I don't know, like really simple rulers, like cheap plastic rulers. I don't know. I like collecting weird, useful rulers. That's a really weird thing to say. Shakira is saying, stationery folks get out rulers, pens, all the stationery. Oh, stationery folks get it, not stationery folks get out. I mean, a lot of people here are stationery folks, though. So, anyway. Ackman saying, I did stop at the Asian stationery store again today. Yeah. Ackman saying you could use the asterisks as a stencil if you wanted. Oh my goodness, I don't know if Erin Condren still sells it, but they have a sheet of stencils. Ooh, did it never make its way back in my drawer? It's one of the few things from Erin Condren that I use the most. I haven't used it lately though, can you tell? It's probably like under my desk or something, but yeah, it is a essential sheet. Okay, let me bring the ring agenda back, because next we have ring agenda dividers. About time. I find it really funny though that on this side you see they're just holes, but on the back they show it almost as being like as a rollerblade thing, And then they also show the vertical layout for the life planner, when the ring agenda is only available, it's available as an A5, and that vertical layout is not available. So does that mean they're going to bring out that sort of layout, or do they just mess it up? So these are, you know, your little dividers. I've been saying it for a long time. I think Erin Condren is missing out on the ring agenda inserts. I think they can do so much more than what they have. But here are the inserts. So you can create your own little thing. And then it comes with a sheet of stickers that so you can put them on the labels. So it has lists, notes, important, today, and then a bunch of blank ones. I love this. These dividers, by the way, they're not like actually laminated, but it is a very smooth paper. I don't know if I'm going to keep these, so I don't want to try it, but I would not be surprised if you could use wet erase markers on these. Does it advertise that you can? Let's see, infuse more color into your A5 ring agenda with these fun and functional dividers, perfect for keeping everything in one place using the divide, budgeting, memory keeping, and more. You can even customize your dividers with the included tab stickers to highlight your top priorities, label your favorites. Okay, yeah. It does not specifically say that they work, but yeah, I think they need to work on the packaging a little bit, because there's some inconsistencies there. But these are so cool. I don't know if they're doing more colors than these, or if this is the only color option, but these are so pretty. I mean, obviously, even if they aren't the only color option, they go very well with my ring agenda cover. At some point, I would like to make my own ring agenda inserts, but I just have not gotten around to it yet. At first, I was trying to make a ring agenda sized insert that had boxes similar to the 7x9 vertical, but now that I've been messing around with the compact vertical, I might just, because I don't want to go out and buy them, and I'm not sure if I'm going to use it on a daily basis, make something kind of similar to the compact vertical just to print out. Again, because I have the printer and cutter and cardstock, I can print it out and put it in here again, then just to mess around with. Because, yeah, I don't need to spend a ton of money to just like buy all the planner stuff to look at it and test it once. But yeah, that is those. And then, okay, so we have some books to look at, and we have a couple of snap-in dashboards, and we have the last set of pens that I wasn't going to show you until I showed you these dashboards, because the pens are white fine-tip wet erase markers. And so they are meant for use on these dark dashboards. So these are very pretty dashboards, and I love the bright colors, but they are done in such a way that, in theory, the white red erase markers would look best. And so we have two of them. I'm a little bit more excited about this one, though I like the colors on this one more, but I think for me this one is actually more functional, because remember in the academic planner how we were looking at that page where they had kind of like the projects that you could track? I mean, they really just had this, project, class details, then deadline and stuff like that, and I was talking about, at least for me, and what I do is if I change class to something else or I ignore it, this is like great for my own project tracking. And so I was like, oh, you know, I've talked about how, for me, despite the fact that I would not use some of the academic type pages in the academic planner, the weekly spread, I think, for me, in a lot of ways would be more functional, and some of these things would be, like, this would be a good add-in to my current 7x9. It would be very cool, though, if they had something like this available, and maybe they do, and they just didn't send it for the A5, because A5, in a lot of ways, is a lot more functional for putting in a backpack. And I know a lot of kids in a lot of schools, specifically middle and high school, have lockers, but mine didn't. And so we had to carry everything in the backpack. This is very, very interesting. These are fine tip wet erase. Okay, I just needed to check that. So these are very interesting. They are thicker than the normal wet erase. Let me grab one for comparison. Let's see. I want to grab something that's contrasty so you can see it well. Here we go. So that's the standard Erin Condren wet erase marker. Well, I don't think they're painted petals anymore, but you get the idea. So these white ones are definitely chunkier and bigger, which, as I said, for me actually is a little bit better. Not that I'd be writing a ton with these, but yeah. And then the cap is also very chunky. I wonder if there's an actual, like a functional reason, or if that is just a stylistic thing, because when you, oh, you know how like when you have a paint pen and you go like this and it like, I'm not sure if you can hear the sound. That's what it sounds like. That's probably why it's bigger. It's like a paint pen, and then it has a super fine point, which I love. So let's see. I'm gonna say, oh, it has a little tip on. Oh, is that it? Okay, give me. Oh, I have to prep it first by like pushing it down, I think. Yay, paint pens. Prime it, I guess, not prep it. Okay, let me read the back. Oh, with cap on. With cap on, hold marker tip downward and shake several times to mix ink. Press tip down on red erase surface several times until the ink flows. Test before writing. Note instructions are for initial ink flow. Once ink is flowing, fine tip wet erase marker should be ready for repeated use. Okay. Thanks for the help, Sharon, on like needing to prime. Can you tell I've not used an ink pen in a long time? Ooh, Ackman, talking about how if you flip the dividers upside down, you can have it on the bottom instead of the top. It'd also be cool if they have them for the side. But yeah. Oh, I haven't tucked this down. Okay. Just right on the blue dashboard with the blue pen and the red pink one with the red pen, and it'll stand out. It'll turn out so well. Okay. Okay, here we go. Oh. This is so satisfying. I know, like, a lot of artists absolutely love writing on like paper. When I was looking into buying an iPad a while back, I was looking at screen protectors because I didn't want my screen to get all scratched. I always put a screen protector on electronics that have like a touch screen. And a lot of people were talking about different screen protectors like the Paperwhite and some other stuff that make a glass screen feel like paper. To me, maybe it's the ADHD, but like some paper, like in some circumstances, like I don't like the feel of it. I definitely prefer like a smooth glide. And so this is so satisfying. So probably for me, I mean, I just put the compact vertical sticker kit. I mean, the big thing that I have to do is troubleshoot transparency printing. Obviously that went too far. Deadline, I don't remember what that is, but I did put like a, anyway. This is so cool. I love these. It's so satisfying. And it doesn't, I mean, like the normal wet erase markers, they're just like, they're a normal felt tip. These are definitely not ball tip, but they're like a paint marker, and it's so satisfying to write on here. How fast does this dry? It's already dry. I mean, granted it was there for a minute, but you can also like feel the texture with your finger. That is so cool. I love this. I love this. Okay, let's try it on the dark part. Oh my goodness. Okay, so I didn't let it dry for very long, but now it's dry. I mean, it needs like what, 5 seconds, 10 seconds? It's supposed to say testing, except my cursive not only sucks, but I forgot to do the G at the end, and a lot of my cursive ends up looking like scribbles, which is why I don't typically write in cursive. But yeah, so it needs like, 10, 15 seconds to dry, but that, I mean, is pretty good. I should probably test the wet erase, except I don't have water with me. Okay, you know what? It scratches off. Usually what I would do, actually this is very cool just from like a lazy person's perspective. You don't have to go get water, but it like stays on there unless you actually scratch it with a nail. I will not subject you to grabbing a tissue and putting my spit on it, but this is actually, in my opinion, a better erasing experience for lazy people anyway. Yeah, they're basically paint pens that go on here, Sharon. I hope my demonstration helped with the questions you had, Ahmed, about drying and smearing. Yeah. Oh, you just asked about how easy are they to clean off and rewrite. I mean, I didn't test the wet erase, but as I said, for me, just like scratching it is easy anyway. Yep, Shakira, a lazy person's perspective. Yes, or the ADHD perspective, or both. Or, I mean, keep in mind, you might have kids or teenagers using this. And so, even if they aren't technically lazy, they don't necessarily get the big picture as to why you want to take care of your stuff. And as I'm looking at it, it doesn't look like I actually did any lasting damage with my nail. I mean, you can kind of see, it's just, I have very short nails at the moment. They're not acrylic or anything. I didn't have to press very hard. It's just, I mean, it kind of felt like the scratch off stuff, like that. It had a little bit more texture than that, but yeah. Ooh, I know they are not labeled as dry erase. Wonder how long those color changing pens would work on the dashboards. I mean, the color changing pens that we looked at, I don't think were dry erase or wet erase. So I'm not sure if those would actually come off, but here, let me do this. Since I don't have any exams, I'm gonna scribble here, and I'll just keep that there, and then if I remember, or if you remind me in like a week or two, we can come back here. I'll scribble a little bit more, and we can see how easy it is to remove in a couple weeks. Remind me if I forget, or I'll just randomly put it in something, or I'll update you in some way, shape, or form. I will try to remember to update you in some shape or form, but since I don't think I'm really going to use that box, putting it there as a test won't impede its functionality, whereas the other part I might, yeah. That really would be a color blends on a color blends dashboard. Oh my goodness, using the color changing markers. No, color changing wet erase markers, that would be so nifty. That might be a little ahead of Erin Condren's time, but yeah. And these are already dry, by the way. I'm going over it like I'm touching it with my fingers. Okay, so I'm touching really and smearing really hard right now, and it is coming off. But if I'm just going over it, with a light to medium touch, it's not going anywhere. So that hopefully gives you a feel for it. And as I said, because it's effectively a paint pen and it feels cool, I love it. I love these. So let me go ahead and get this one put back in, and then we can go ahead and take a look at the school tracker dashboard. Actually, I'm not going to bother putting that back in. I'll deal with that later. We're already, what, 2 hours into the stream? So, zoom out. There we go. Okay. And we still have more to do. They actually won't take super long, but yeah, we still have more. So this is the school tracker. So we have top priorities, assignments, and then you can write the class, assignment due date, place down here for notes. And then here you have the days of the week. So this could be cool if you have a school schedule where you have stuff on specific days. I know for high school, for me, we had A days and B days. Sorry, my nose is itching. So like one Monday, I might have one set of classes, whereas the next Monday I might have another set of classes. But in college, it was, you know, like I have this class Monday, Wednesday, Friday, or Tuesday, Thursday, or whatever. So that actually would have been very handy for me to be able to put that in there if I wanted to be able to refer back to it. I'm pretty sure I know I did use Google Calendar, but I did not have a smartphone back then. So, yeah. Long-term assignments, upcoming quizzes and tests. So this really is meant to like clip, I mean, not that it's a snap and dashboard, but it really is meant to clip into your planner every week and kind of track stuff that maybe might go beyond a week. You know, this is for slightly shorter term stuff, that this is for, you know, longer term stuff, upcoming quizzes and tests next week. I like how this is like the full gamut of the color blends. It makes, as somebody who's not like usually into bright colors, it just makes me happy. I don't know what to tell you. And this, by the way, is a gold foil, if you can't tell, and the other one was a holographic foil. I think that's what it was. Holographic. Yeah. This is more of a silver foil on this side, whereas this, yeah, so this side is holographic, and I think the other side is just silver. I definitely, maybe it's just because there's not as much, but this, I think this side is silver and the other one's holographic. Ooh, Sharon, I'm glad we can keep you company while you plan. Here, let me just scribble so you can kind of see what the white looks like on the different colors. It doesn't show up quite as well here, but it still shows up like perfectly well enough for at least me to see. I don't have like particularly bad vision, so if you are low vision, it might be a little different, but for like a lot of this, it is pretty contrasty, so that wouldn't be an issue. So anyway, yeah, these are so cool. It comes in a pack of 3. I'm very, the thing is, I don't use a ton of snap-in dashboards, but now I want to get like all of the darker colored snap-in dashboards. The other thing you could do with these though, is that like with the covers, like the insides, I mean, they do have the white spaces, but they have the spots around. You could like either decorate them or make notes or even like personalize the cover. That'd be so cool. Like in school, if you just wanted to like doodle, you could like doodle on the cover of your planner and I don't know, like make little squigglies all over it and make it look all cool or lame, as the case may be. And then scrape it off with your fingernail or actually, you know, wet erase it when you either don't like it or when you're done or whatever. Also, okay, this is silly. When I was in school, I would do the whole like coloring my fingernails with whiteout thing. And I mean, I'm not gonna waste too much ink on this, but I can already tell it's gonna have a better finish than whiteout. Just saying. I only did that a couple times, but I did definitely get bored and do that a couple times. I was more of a like braid my hair in school kind of person. Like once I did like a good third of my hair in cornrows during English class. Well, not, okay, they were not actual cornrows. I shouldn't say that. I think when I'm thinking of like myself in braids, I think of like the small braids as cornrows, but they actually, like I was not like doing any of the like braiding up against my head. I was just taking a small section of hair and like braiding it down. So I did about a third of my head in small braids during English. And it wasn't like a section of my hair. I did like a bunch from the top. But yeah. Ooh! I am going to doodle all over my covers now. These are so cool. Ooh, test exams could become meetings. I love that. Hope that the grease from a finger will not affect the surface to write on again. Might have to use something like a lint-free cloth to wipe it off. That is a good point. Let's go ahead and test. I mean, I am trying to figure out which of my fingers is the greasiest. Just so I can, I mean, my fingers are not super greasy at the moment. Is this, yeah. It doesn't look like it's impacting it, but I mean, it could be that you have to get it like after a few times or after it gets dirty to a certain extent. You have to? I don't know. Ackman, as was said earlier, change school to work and you can use it the way you want. Yeah. Could use a cover for quick, not to put in your planner when you have time instead of opening up a page, etc. Ooh, I love that. You could just like jot a note down on the planner cover. That's a great idea. I love that. Okay, so I am going to make another poll. We have books and we have a not book but big thing left. I don't want to get like, I will say, okay, what should I say for last? Spiral bound books or big non-book thing. Okay, I just did a poll. So which one should we save for last? Ooh, good point, JPF. The Color Blends cover especially has a lot of space and it doesn't have a lot going on it. So whereas a lot of the covers, I mean, a good number of them have white on them, but a lot of them also have other stuff going on, so you can only write so much. All right. So far, books are winning for what should we save for last. Currently, there are 3 votes. I will let go for another minute. Like, not actually a minute. I'm just going to wait a little bit longer. You can, I don't know, look at my beautiful hands. I'm trying to think if I have anything else that I, like, need to show you besides what's in this box, but I'm, like, intentionally trying not to show you what's in the box until I bring it out, just to like keep the suspense alive, right? I don't think I really have anything new. No one's mentioned it, but I will talk about my arms. This is called keratosis pilaris or pilaris, depending on who you talk to. It's genetic, it's not contagious. I've had it since I was a little kid. Yes, it makes my arms look terrible. For the most part, it is one of the few things about my body that I'm like least subconscious about. And I also have a scar on my thumb. I used to have a birthmark and it was deemed potentially precancerous, so I had to have it removed. And then I guess I'm just showing you like the weird marks on my hands. And then that is from a glue gun. You can't really see it too well, but there's a little scar there. And then I told you I sliced off the tip of my finger. That was right before a final. It was right before an art final. And the finals in art class were like, we had our final project and then we had a critique. So the critique literally lasted 3 hours because we went around. So yeah, I think, oh, and then I have a ton of scratches and cuts currently from the kittens because I was really bad about cutting their paws. So I think that is all the weird abnormal shit on my hands that I can point out. And I have a little bit of KP on my hands, not that much. So yeah. Agman, you need to put TM on all your posts now and charge fees. That's great. Is it painful? The KP, no. Sometimes it gets a little itchy, but it's a little rough because it's effectively, it's like hair follicles that like as you know how skin will like, the dead skin will typically like cycle itself out and fall off, right? So in these hair follicles with KP, it has too much keratin, and it effectively just like hangs on to the dead skin. So it creates these little bumps. Occasionally it gets a little itchy. I sometimes pick at them. I know that's gross. I'm sorry. It's just like one of those things that I sometimes do subconsciously. So, like I do, like some of them look worse than they should because of that. And then of course I have the kitten scratches, which makes the whole thing look worse. I also have it on my upper arms. It's not quite as bad here. It's a little smoother here, interestingly enough. So yeah. Yes, KP, if that's what you're talking about, consider it enlightened. Yeah, apparently a decent percentage of the population has it. I have it the worst in my family. It's very annoying. It's genetic. There's no cure. There are treatments. I've been trying to treat it kind of a little off and on, but because I do have ADHD and it's hard for me to like keep with things, a lot of the treatments, which happen to be like using, like moisturizing a lot and specifically using chemical exfoliants or moisturizers with a chemical exfoliant in them, like day and night, I have a really hard time keeping up with that. And so for the most part, I have times when I get really annoyed and I just want it gone, and I'll try to do a lot for it, but for the most part, I just try to live with it. All right, I'm gonna end the poll. It looks like most people want to save the spiral bound books for last, so we shall do the big non-book thing. Ooh, it is big. I'm not even sure if I'm going to be able to fit the whole thing on camera, but let's zoom out. Ooh, I think I can, just. So, I opened this up to look at it, and when I was putting it back in, I got dog hair on the thing. And you're wondering, dog hair? Why, yes, I know it's dog hair, one, because it's longer than cat hair, but also because I was at my mom's place when I opened it, and she has a dog. So I often do like little hauls when the Aaron Condren box comes, because I live so close to my mom. So I'm like, hey, do you want to see it? And then she dibs stuff, and I like, usually I'll be like, okay, I might want that, but if I don't want it, you can have it. She's usually next in the list. So this, let me actually bring the package back. This is a repositionable weekly whiteboard and notepad. So this is dry and wet erase. It has a refillable notepad. So I guess they sell refills for that. And the, can't quite see, but the back has a little layer on it. And so the idea, the idea on this back is you can, peel it off, and it doesn't actually feel sticky. It feels kind of weird, but it's supposed to have a coating or like a back sort of thing that will stick to dry erase boards. The idea is you could put this on a dry erase board and it will kind of stick there, and so you could use that to kind of organize part of it. Oh, this, it goes into a little pocket, so you could literally, I mean, any notepad that you have that would fit into that pocket you could put here. This is probably going to end up going to my mom. I want to, it's not really a full disclosure thing to say, but like, you know, just we think that that is going to be best for her, because the way I would use this, if I was using it in the way I think, or at least the way I told her she should use this, is, so this, I mean, if it's going on the wall, I'd probably use dry erase just because it's easier to erase off. But what I'd probably do is split each of the days in half, or maybe like 1/3, 2/3, and like write down the stuff that you have every week. So for was me, I'd write, you know, 4 p.m. stream, 4 p.m. stream, or something like that, like kind of closer to the top, because that's the stuff that I have every week. I don't have too many like reoccurring things every week. And then I would use the bottom part, however much of it I needed. I could write whatever I had that specific week going on. And then because I separated it out, like you wouldn't have it in chronological order for the day, but at least you wouldn't have to go erase it every time. And it might also make it easy to write the stuff you have every week that you don't necessarily want to erase every time in wet erase, and then do the rest of it in dry erase, so it's easy to take off. And then you have the area for reminders, as well as the little notepad. So you could make this a to-do, you could make a shopping list, and then just pull it off, bring it to the store with you, because I know some people don't necessarily like bringing like a whole big thing to the store. They want, you know, just a piece of paper. So, I mean, you could do so many things with this. I think this is so cool. For me personally, I'm not sure if I would actually use it, but I know there are a lot of people that would absolutely love something like this. And I also like the color. Excuse me, I like the pastel rainbow colors I've mentioned before. I'm often not a huge like super brights person, but I do like colors. And so for me, like kind of this like pastel rainbow, it still has a little bit of color, a little bit of oomph, but isn't like super bright in your face, is a very nice, like middle ground for me. The other thing me and my mom were thinking is that if you have those like old magnets that, you know, like people would like, instead of like a business card, sometimes people would like back in the day, maybe they still do it, like give out a magnet or something like that. And we have a bunch lying around. So what she was thinking is if she has a magnetic whiteboard, which she does, instead of sticking this on the whiteboard, taking this off, is we could just put some magnets on the back and put it up like that. Functionally speaking, I'm not sure if it would actually make a huge difference. But yeah, this is very cool. I love it. It's just, I mean, it feels cool. And the white actually would probably show up very nicely on this too, and would actually look very chic, I think. Now I'm gonna grab it because I love these things. Woo! I love the white here because you have the white in the background, and so it like sets it off very nicely. I don't know. I think that is really pretty and really chic. After a dry erase board end up leaving pen marks on them after a while, wonder if the EC after a while. Okay, so the Erin Condren wet erase markers definitely leave marks on the their wall organization center, which is effectively a dry/wet erase board. Especially anything with a red tint. There is actually a trick though if you have pen residue, whether it is a stain from a pen or it's just a pen that's been on a dry or wet erase board for super long, and it won't come off. So what you do is you just go over it with another dry or a wet erase marker, and then you know, take it up like normal. And I guess it like somehow bonds to the old ink and it gets rid of it. That is also true if you accidentally write on a dry or a wet erase board with a Sharpie, go over it with a dry or wet erase marker. I've never actually done this. Okay, take that back. I did it once in high school because I accidentally wrote on the teacher's projector in a Sharpie, and that's when he told me the trick. So I forget if you have to use like a dry or wet erase. Ooh, this doesn't come off with the nail nearly as well. Okay, I'll take that off with water later. But yeah, so ever since I heard that little trick, like it's still kind of annoying because you do have to use the ink to take off the stain, but I know that a lot of marker packs will come with a bunch of colors, including brown, and I'm not a huge brown fan, so for me, if I have a brown, I just kind of designate that as like the color that I use to take things up if I ever need to, and then as I figure out what colors stain, I try to maybe use those a little bit less if I can get away with it. So that's what I do. But yeah, markers and stuff staining isn't a big deal if you know how to deal with it. Yeah. Be sure to read all the warnings, packages on the package for use. You can even possibly put it on the sides of the fridge, etc. I wouldn't be surprised if you could put that thing on a fridge. My mom specifically can't put it on her fridge because her fridge is wood lined. But yeah, a lot of fridges it probably would work very well on. It's probably like has to do with how slick it is. Okay, we have books because that's what you guys voted to keep until the last. Books. Okay, so we're gonna look at this one first really fast because we literally looked at it effectively yesterday. So they sent me the academic planner again. So now I officially have 4 academic planners and I'm not in school. So my sister, if you're watching cover your ears. Despite the fact that you're graduating either at the end of summer or the end of fall, you're getting an academic planner for your birthday, yay! Which is in August. And I will be pawning academic planners off on whoever I can, aka donating. But yeah, it's the color blends one too. So the reason why I'm laughing so much is if you weren't here yesterday, we literally went through the academic planner page by page and compared it to the horizontal life planner. So it's a different cover than the one we went through yesterday. I think this was literally the one we went through yesterday. And this is the one that came in the box today. I have to say, I do like this because, like, with the colors and whatnot, it's bright enough to be summer, but it has the mushrooms and not so bright colors that it can't be fall. So this cover could be really good for people that do start school in early to mid-August and then want to transition into the fall. Whereas in my area, school definitely starts in September, which, I mean, it's still summer weather, but it's the fall. So yeah. Yeah. Ooh, Ackman's saying, I'm not seeing the old version of the dry erase boards on the 𝗀𝗏𝗏𝗏 site. This might be replacing it. Are you talking about the wall organization centers? I would be like, I can't take it off the wall, but I actually can take it off the wall because it slides out. Oh, I mean, I can't take the whole thing off the wall. Full disclosure, 𝗀𝗏𝗏𝗏 sent this to me for PR. So the thing, it bounced on the wall and you slide it in. I have to say, I kind of wish, they gave me the choice on if I wanted a calendar one. I kind of wish I hadn't gotten a calendar one, but I could personalize the top. Can you see that? Well, my grays are there. It says the Grandmaster Plan, ha ha ha. And then they had these little magnetic things that you could put on. I honestly, can you tell I was testing pens on here most recently? I've not used this in so long. And then this, I got these little things. They come in a pack of 2 at the Dollar Tree, and they're great for dice. And those happen to be Dollar Tree dice, and one of them's destroyed, so I probably need to get rid of it anyway. But yeah, it's handy. So yeah, is this what you're talking about? Because I'm gonna put this back on. It just as I said, it's hard not to show, but it just slides back in. Ooh, I wonder if I could recover that with something that you with effectively laminate and cover up the calendar, since I don't really use it. I don't know. Very cool. So back to the books. So yeah, if you want to see it page by page, really slow, comparing to the horizontal, go to yesterday's stream. I still haven't made a thumbnail for it. Hopefully I'll get around to it soon. Hopefully I'll get around to it, but yeah. Just real fast, academic planner. Yay! Okay, so I know this one's boring, but we still have 2 more books to go through. So let me grab them. Where did they go? Here they are. Okay. Whew. 2 more books. So let's see. We're going to do this one first because there's not as much content to go through. This cover, I just read it when I was flipping through it. I did not specifically look at the cover. Progress, not perfection. Yes. Ooh, Ackman saying all the wall items are back soon. Interesting. I have to say the Wall Organization Center, I was sent it for PR, so I didn't buy it myself, but if I'm remembering correctly, it was pretty darn expensive. Whereas this thing that I just showed you guys was definitely a lot lighter, and I'm pretty sure it was significantly less expensive. Repositional whiteboard and notepad, colorful neutral, $38. So not cheap, but I'm pretty sure the Wall Organization Center was closer to like $100. So if you compare it that way, definitely less expensive. So this is just a 3-subject notebook, which is why I said we have less content. We do have the smaller notebooks spirals, and then I don't know exactly how well it's showing up on camera, but this first page has perforations in it. So if you wanted to take it out and just have this be your first page, you theoretically could. It also has lines on the back. If I was going to take out the first page, I would honestly just tear the whole thing out so I wouldn't have to deal with that, but whatever. And then you have 3 tabs, and you can do 3 different subjects. It looks like each of the insides of the tabs has effectively the same dashboard that is in the life planners, slightly different. This is, here, let me just grab it. Actually, this is a school planner. Oh no, this is an academic planner. So many planners, and so many of them are academic planners. This is what I said, I have 4 academic planners and I'm not in school. And my sister's graduating within 6 months, and then we'll have no one in school in my family. Which is just ironic. Okay, so this is the page I wanted to compare it to. So, I mean, we're very similar. You still have your dot grid down here on both of them. This, because it doesn't have the month, is a little taller, and you have your lines. You have a checklist here, not as much of a header, and then instead of lines here, this is blank. But it looks like that is on the inside of each of the subjects. Tabs. The tabs themselves are laminated, so you'd probably want to write on these with a Sharpie. Maybe you could use a wet erase marker and then like erase it, but I'm not sure, like with a notepad, if you'd really want to swap it out in between subjects. I don't know. And then they just have a whole shit ton of note pages, all of which are perforated. So, and they have the little Erin Condren asterisk thing at the top. So yeah, very pretty. Here's the next one. What you do today can inspire all your tomorrows. Same dashboard. And then if a plan doesn't work, change the plan, not the goal. Dashboard again. Perforated pages all to the end, and then you have your normal interchangeable cover. Very cute. I have to say, I might cannibalize this cover and put one of my other interchangeable covers on this. I probably will end up giving this away, but I might keep the cover. We'll see. That is one thing. But yeah, this 3-subject notebook. It doesn't list specifically here how many pages are in each section. I mean, it's a good chunk, but it doesn't specifically say. And I don't think the email that they sent says it either. Yeah, it just says line 3 subject notebook, $24. So it looks like Ackman said that they had a 3-subject notebook on their site for a long time now, $24. I mean, $24 for an Erin Condren notebook doesn't, okay, it's expensive for a notebook, but for an Erin Condren notebook, it doesn't feel super expensive, if that makes sense. You know, when you take into consideration that Erin Condren stuff is expensive. And then last, we have this little guy, right off the bat. I mean, we've seen this cover before, but you'll notice that the spiral is a little bit different than the spirals we have seen on a lot of them. It is plastic. And if you're not aware, when you see a plastic spiral on an Erin Condren product, it means this is something meant for a kid. They typically don't put the metal coils on it. My guess is that they know that like if they start coming uncoiled, they can be sharp and hurt. I don't know. But this is a little A5 book, and this is the kids reading log. which is very cute. I know, I forget exactly when it was, but relatively recently we were looking at a lot of the like kids and middle school books, and specifically there was one middle school one, I forget what it was, but I like loved it. I'm like, dude, I know it's for middle schoolers, and I'm in my 30s, but I want that. I also think it's so cool how they have, you know, the rainbows on the cover, and they've pulled this in. So this is another one that actually has theming on the inside. Not a ton of the books do. A lot of them have the interchangeable covers. And on the inside, they're just the same thing. Ooh, Ackman, you're saying the old notebook has 160 pages. My guess is that it's the same for all of them. Ooh, where is it? It's actually pretty easy, if I can find it, for me to tell if that's the right ballpark. Because I have a big pile of stuff on my desk. I have to unearth what I'm looking for. There we go. Okay. So this notebook was sent to me as part of the back to school set, and it is an A5 notebook. And when I have a notebook itself, I do like to number my pages. I know it's really small, but I numbered them by hand, and then I create myself an index in the front, kind of like you will with a bullet journal. I don't really use it like a bullet journal in a lot of aspects, but I really do like being able to say like, oh, this is what I want to find, here's where it is. Oh, Sharon, I hope you have a good night. Take care, bye. Oh, and Shakira, you have to go. Goodbye. Thanks for hanging out. We're at the end anyway. So anyway, because I numbered all the pages, it's easy for me to tell exactly how many there are. I got to 158. So, you know, maybe they call it 160 and then they like count the first page or something. I don't know. But what we can do is we can just compare the thickness. Okay, so the new one that they sent me is ever so slightly thicker, but it also has the dividers and the tabs. So my guess is that it is the same number of pages from last year, and it is 160. Thank you for that info, Ackman. Between that and what I've already done for my small A5 notebook, that was really cool, and we were able to solve that little mystery. Okay, kids reading log, let's get through this because we've been streaming for 2.5 hours, and I'm actually still doing okay, but I know for anybody watching, this is a long thing, especially for anybody who is watching the replay. So yeah, kids reading log. So we have this at the front. My name is, age when starting this log, age when finishing the log. As you said, Ackman, you could use this for years. And they have that specifically here. I live in, this is me, and then some stuff that you can fill in, favorite genres, book characters, all that good stuff. And I have to say, so far, this is not super, like, kiddie. This is the kind of thing that, like, if you as an adult wanted to keep track of what you were reading, like, it wouldn't be terrible. It would be, like, an interesting little log if you're really huge into reading. So, yeah. My reading goals. Oh, I love that! It definitely, I don't know if it's, like, these might be the standard size lines, but, you know, they're not going to be super small writing spaces for kids. But again, like this still, even though this is for kids, the layout does not look childish. So I like that, and it gives you a lot of room. It gives you 4 pages for goals. And then we get into the reading log books. So date, book, title, author, minutes read. Oh, so you could like track daily what you read. Probably for me, I like fill in the date and the book. I fill in the date, the book title, and author when I first start the book, and then as I read the book, assuming I'm not flipping back and forth between the books, or maybe I just do like a different page for each book, I'd like put the date, and if I was keeping track of my minutes read, and then I just like, I'd only write the book title and the author once, and I just kind of keep a log for everything in the book. So we have quite a few pages of this. The header is a slightly different color every time. But again, not like super kiddie. I could see like an adult or someone using this. In my area at my library, I'm betting a lot of other libraries do this. They have the summer reading program, but I volunteered for it when I was a teenager, so I have like a special connection to it. And so when I saw this, I immediately thought like, oh, summer reading program. You have to keep track. I think it's just like that you finished a book. It's either days that you read or that you finished a book. Or if you're like a little kid, you can have books read to you. I like half cheated according to the library because I was a huge audiobook person as a kid, and I got like really mad because I could listen to higher grade level audiobooks when I was like 7 or 8 than I could, like I could understand and comprehend them much better than I could read. Like I could read and understand books meant for teenagers. Like maybe not, like there's some concepts I wasn't getting at like 7 or 8, but like just as far as the words go, like I could understand that, but I was like very behind in my actual reading comprehension. Anyway, book reviews is next. So here it looks like little bits for the book: date started, date finished, title, author, genre, page count, read this book for school, reading challenge or fun, reading level, recommend this book, yes, no, what this book about is, my favorite part of the book, thoughts, quotes, doodles about the book. Okay, so this I feel, and oh, and the book rating at the top. This is kind of like the, you know, planner version of Goodreads, if you use Goodreads. Except I mostly just use Goodreads to get book recommendations. I rarely put in books that I finished there anymore. But yeah, definitely a good way to keep track of it. Oh, and there's a blank so you could say what you read it for. So yeah, this is a little bit more, I feel like, in like some of this stuff is a little bit more like child journal-ish, like my favorite part of the book, what the book was about. Like I think having a summary, actually, I've heard that doing things like that can help your reading comprehension. And then I also like the idea of having like a page for the book and then having a place for all of like your thoughts or quotes, or you know, you can even just like write down page numbers or like whatever you want while you're reading it, and that way like all of it is here for that book, especially if you don't own the book, or if you got it out from the library, or if you sold it or whatever, or, you know, maybe if it was an audiobook that you were listening to and you just keep this close by, having all of your things here versus having to either put sticky notes in the book, or if you're someone who highlights, this probably wouldn't be enough space if you were reading something for like a high school or college class maybe, but for something that you're reading for fun, but you just want to keep tabs of something, I love this. Now, would I actually use this for listening to audiobooks? Probably not, realistically speaking. But this is another one of those things that's meant for kids, but I could definitely see being used for teenagers or adults, especially people with ADHD, and just kind of, you know, it's cute, has some color, but it's not super distracting. There are definitely a lot more pages for books than there were spots to track reading, which could be an issue if you tend to read books in small little chunks. But if, you know, it takes you 3 or 4 lines to read a book, that will not be a problem. Ooh, there are some comments going on. Let's see. Ackman, I forgot to say Tia about the stuff being used for years. All my comments might not necessarily be the same as Erin Condren and or endorsed by Erin Condren. Oh my goodness. That's basically the disclaimer I should give. It's like, hey, I'm an affiliate. I'm my own person. I criticize them sometimes. They still send me shit. If a parent started using that when they started to read to a young child, and then when the child were older, they got to keep track as well, that would be so cool. That would be so cool. Like a history of as you were a kid, like a lot of the books that you read, or maybe, you know, it would go over a series of years. This would be such a cool keepsake. Such a cool keepsake, like having kept that. So, and then this is the book lists. So here, my favorite books ever. My favorite books ever. More favorite books? I feel like this is a lot of favorite books ever. My favorite books ever. My favorite books ever. This is way too many favorite books. I would like turn at least half of these, if not more, into like to read lists or like recommended. Like, seriously. So many favorite books ever. I'm not even sure I've read this. Oh, here we go. Books I want to read, book title, author with a checklist. Okay, so make like 2/3 of that favorite books ever, more books I want to read. Because I definitely have a ton of books that would be cool to read that I like. It's like, oh, I should read that, and then I completely forget about it. All right, a new world awaits in a book. A whole new world. That new fantastic point of view. No one to tell us no or where to go. And I am not in key anymore. I was just gonna say, YouTube, please don't demonetize me, and then I realized I'm not monetized, so it doesn't matter. Okay, don't copyright strike me. TM. Okay, so that is the last thing that they sent me. Such a big haul. Let's see, we've been going, okay, so I did start going into stuff a few minutes after I actually started the stream. So let's say that I've been actively going through stuff in my meandering way for 2.5 hours. Craziness, guys, absolute craziness. I think I need to refocus my camera. Oh, I'm better close up. So if you're here live and you have any questions about anything that I talked about, let me know in the chat, like right now, because if I don't have any questions or anything that people specifically want to know, I am going to let you go soon. If you are watching the replay, remember I want to hear what your favorite thing is that I talked about in the comments. I'd also love to hear about that from the people who are here live, but a lot of you guys have been chatting the whole time, and people in the comments don't get the benefits of the chat, so please leave a comment down below and let me know what your favorite thing is that we talked about today, if you're going to get any of this stuff, and of course if you have any questions. Ooh, Ackman, in the reading log, change it from books I want to read to books I want to listen to. Yeah, okay, here's the thing. It's gotten easier lately, but as somebody who grew up with audiobooks, it's often easier just to say I read something even when I listen to it. It's kind of like as a kid, like you wouldn't say, like, okay, if like, maybe I had a unique experience, but my dad read to me when I was a kid up until I was like, I don't know, 7 or 8 or something like that. And like there are a bunch of books he read me. Like one of the one is like The Wizard of Oz. As an adult, I wouldn't say, oh, when I was a kid, my dad read The Wizard of Oz to me. I'd say, oh, I read The Wizard of Oz as a kid. I also listened to it on audiobook, but he read it to me first. So that, like, to me, in a lot of ways, it's the same with audiobooks. So sometimes I will go specify if it makes sense. And now that audiobooks are a lot more in the mainstream, there's not a, like, here's what an audiobook is kind of explanation that goes into it. I mean, it used to be called books on tape. And you got them on cassette tapes, and then it was books on a CD, and it got a little weird. It's like, oh, I listened to a book on tape, on a CD. And then slowly it turned into audiobooks, which makes a lot more sense. But yeah, for me, I've always, for like reading logs or even the summer reading program, I've always kind of used like physically reading the book / listening to it synonymously unless otherwise specified. If that makes sense. Maybe that's just because I'm weird. Let's see, at this time, Ackman, you're saying you're not going to place an order 10 p.m. California time on the 5th, not in a rush to order, depends this time around. Okay, you've bought a lot during the last few launches, so I don't necessarily think, like, I don't blame you for that. Had I not been sent this stuff for PR, and I'm very grateful to Aaron Condren for doing that, but I probably wouldn't have like placed a ton of orders. There's definitely some stuff that I have that I've either gotten for PR or got as part of the Life Player launch that I would have gotten anyway. And there's some stuff that I was sent that I was definitely interested in, but I'm not sure if I would have spent my own money on it not knowing what I know now, if that makes sense. So yeah, okay, what I'm saying is I am never going to shame anybody for not buying stuff from Erin Condren, which is, I mean, they make great planners, but they're expensive, and they make a lot of accessories that are, again, beautiful, again, expensive. So yeah. Oh, JPF, thanking me for the awesome stream. Very into the writing tools and your deep analysis. Oh, thank you. I'm glad that you were able to come, and I'm glad you had fun. I'm glad that you enjoyed my deep analysis, and that my rambling and tangents were not too, were entertaining instead of hopefully too distracting. Or maybe you were just ignoring the tangents and you weren't going to mention it, and now you're going to be like, Tef, stop the tangents. And you'd be like, I just am. Honestly, if I didn't have tangents, this stream would have been a fraction of the time it actually was. And I enjoy the tangents. And my tribe here tends to enjoy and embrace my tangents. So unless I start getting a ton of complaints on my tangents, we're going to keep going with the tangents. They're usually at least tangentially related. Okay, that was a really bad pun. I was just like, I almost never make puns. So I was very proud of myself. Again, inner child, 10-year-old tomboy. Says the girl with like wavy curly hair that she like actually did something to style. But yeah. Yeah. Oh my goodness. Okay, I'm not seeing any questions in the chat currently. I will still work on trying to troubleshoot having the on-screen chat, because I know that this is, I mean, it's quite frustrating for me that it's not looking pretty. If I can't get the on-screen chat looking good, now I was going to say, like, I might not have it at all if I can't get it looking good, but honestly, I'll probably keep it, because it's probably better to have it, even if it's a little cut off, than not have it at all. So, Ackman, you'd probably just take a discount code to my local Erin Condren store. See, here's the thing. If I had a local Erin Condren store, I probably would buy a significant amount more. But for me, I have to pay shipping unless I make a really big purchase. And so I have to be getting something that I want enough to pay shipping, or be buying enough all at once to make a big purchase to get free shipping. And that doesn't tend to happen all that often. So, yeah. Yeah, all the things coming up. We definitely had a really big Erin Condren week. I do want to remind you that in the US, Monday is 4th of July. I will be streaming same time. I'm guessing that because a lot of people have that, off work, it's either going to be very busy because a lot of people can make it that usually can't, or it's going to be dead because everybody's doing stuff with their families. I also currently do not have plans with my family, but I may, so I may be like, okay, we're only streaming for like an hour or something. So, you know, I am streaming at the normal time, probably will not be going as long because it is 4th of July, but for those of you in the US, I did want to let you know that that Monday is 4th of July and I will be streaming, because for the most part, I will probably stream most of the holidays. Don't expect me. I mentioned this the other day. Don't expect me to stream like Christmas or Thanksgiving or maybe my birthday, things like that. But like 4th of July, have no problem streaming on. Labor Day, Memorial Day, all that good stuff. So yeah, yeah. I think that is it. Please remember to like this stream, whether you're watching live or the replay. That helps me out so much, as does leaving a comment. And for those of you who are here live chatting in the chat, again, helps me a lot, lets YouTube know that you're enjoying yourself being here and you think my content is worth watching. And if you're here, I'm guessing you think it's worth watching. So please give me a thumbs up and leave a comment, even if it's just saying hi. If you don't have anything else to say, hello, say hi. But I would love to hear what you liked and all that good stuff. Remember that I am an Aaron Content affiliate, so if you are going to be making a purchase of these items or anything else on the site and would like to support me, if you use my affiliate links down below, I will get a small commission and it will not cost you anything. So thank you in advance for using those links. I also have a sticker shop on Etsy. If you're looking to buy some handmade planner stickers, you can shop there to support me as well. Like and subscribe, as I already mentioned, are completely free ways to support me, as are commenting. So thank you again. And also extra special thank you to the replay crew. You guys have watched almost 3 hours of a live stream, assuming you didn't skip around. And you guys are amazing, because I am trying to get my watch time up on YouTube so that I can finally get monetized. And for some weird reason, live views don't count. So I heart you guys for watching and helping contribute to my goal. I really do appreciate you guys. I will be back on Monday at 4 p.m. I typically stream Mondays and Thursdays at 4 p.m. This was a special Friday stream because of the back to school collection launch, and I need to get better at concise endings. I will see you next time. Bye.